Hello everyone. In tonight's video I'm going to do a quick overview of the storytelling toolbox that I've been building in the last few weeks. It's, as you may guess, an update of my Modern Masquerade and Apocalypse toolbox, but this time targeting the Dark Age Chronicle from Canada Midnight. Um, so if you go through the PDF that I share for all the tools and stuff, you will find a place for storytelling tools, and there you'll get an archive that you can download, extract, and you'll get the content you see right now on my screen. So if we go quickly in that folder, you get an application that I've built. So it's not something that install stuff on your machine. It's run as is, and when you close it, there's nothing left about that application on your computer. So you don't need to uninstall. You just delete the folder and you're done. There's a lot of DLL files. Those are libraries of code. If you want to know what they do, you can just Google them. The only three Dark Age bases, shared and shared UI, those are libraries I built over the years, so those you will not find them on Google. But the others you can quickly go and find what they do if you really want, if you're curious. You got also three Excel files. One that is the blank character sheet. I always deliver the tools with one blank character sheet, which allow you to do the upgrade process, which will be covered in a future video. You also get a file for managing the level 2 influence actions, both elite and underworld, what I call gossip. So you got an Excel file to help you with that. Again, I will cover that in the future. And you got a last one about news. It's a completely optional system, but just to do a summary, it lets you generate targeted news based on the allies and contact of your characters. So if you got news related to police, then maybe your character, the contacts in the police may say, hey, have you heard about that news? And then just give some stuff to talk about, when as a storyteller you're too busy. So a little bit more preparation before the game to give you a little bit more time during the game. Okay, so I'll jump inside the application itself. So as I said, it's something that I will just do an overview right now. For the sake of having some data, I'll use 5 character sheet I've got. You'll remember this one and this one. I built them in previous videos. The other 3 I received them as part of questions by player. I just changed the name, players and clans and stuff like that for the sake of keeping them anonymous, but just for the sake of data. So I already got a file that contains the data, which I'll cover in 1 second. So as you can see on the screen, there's a lot of things. A few of them are pretty straightforward. Like if you go at the top here, you got a bunch of filters. Right now you cannot use them because there's no data, but if you load data either from Excel or from an XML file like I just showed you, then that section is actually a great tool to prepare a quest, and I'll show you how in a few minutes. You got a bunch of filter active, which will just list the filter you selected here on the left. So right now there's none, you can so clear. You got the list of file that is loaded right now in the application below here. In the menu, contacts, don't think I need to tell you about contacts. File, so you can load Excel sheets. It's all, of course, the sheet that I provide. It's not necessarily the latest version. So right now I've been working on version 1.02, but this tool will load 1.00 and 1.01 without problem. Once you've loaded the file, you can actually save to XML just for the sake of not having to load them every time. It's much faster to just load them through XML. So you can reload them if you got the file. You can save it if you have not created the file. You can create HTML files data for the management of your game. I will cover that in a future video as well. You can also print the files. That's something that I did when I was running a game. I prefer to print the files, the character sheet, before the game, so that way I could just give them to the player on site. I had no revision ongoing revision to do before the game, because I was like, okay, I already checked them 2 days ago, so just take your sheet and enter play. So all the start of the game was much more faster because of that. In the manage a sheet menu, you got tools that lets you as a storyteller do things that you could do one sheet at a time, but just sucks. Like if you want to lock all of the XP log for the sake that you don't want people to change their data or stats after the fact, you can just say, okay, I've got 30 sheets and log them. You click on the button, you go take a coffee, and you're done. You can also decide you want to send emails to your player. Now, I clearly already know your next question, like why would I send emails here when I can just go to Gmail and send emails? Which is good question. But let's say as a storyteller, you want to send every of your player an email and put in attachment their character sheet. So clearly you don't want to go and write email 1, pick the address 1, put the character sheet 1 attachment, copy paste the text, submit. Do that for the second player, the third player, the fourth player, and so on. This tool, what it does, oh sorry, I don't have loaded data, I'll just load data to show you the screen. So here you got data on the bottom. So I've put my name, character name, you got the factions, and I'll go back on the filter in a minute. But if I go just on the send email, it lets you say, okay, I've got a title, here's the text that I want to send, and I want to include the sheet. So I don't want to do that 30 times things and just do it for me. Again, take a cup of coffee and you're done. For clear off downtime, that's a good thing if you want to just clear previous downtime before you receive the next month downtime. That way you don't have to ask yourself, okay, those are they from this month or last month or the month before, because maybe a character has been gone or a player has not come to the game. And the last step is actually something that would let you say, okay, I've got 5 character sheets, none of them are of the latest version. I don't want to upgrade them manually one by one, and I don't want the player to do that one by one because I have to go and revise them, make sure they have not changed stuff. Of course, most people will just do it directly. It sucks. Like if as a storyteller you don't even want to do it for your NPCs, why would you ask your player to do it? So this toolbox lets you just say, okay, great, I've got a blank character sheet of the latest version in the folder. Pick that one and create one sheet based on the data of every character sheet I've got, and just say upgrade them for me. And after that, for example, you could just say, hey, once I've upgraded them, I'll send an email to my player to say, well, here's your new character sheet. Please use that one from now on. Have fun. So those tasks are really a way to reduce the management, all of the tedious tasks that come again and again and again, and in the end you just say, it sucks. So I built tools to prevent that. For the gossip tab, that's something I will cover in the future. The influence gossip, it's related to the level 2 actions I talked before, and the news again related to the context analyze. I will go back in the future. You can try them if you want. Don't remember if I've got videos based on my modern toolbox, because I know the functionality is there, so you may find on my playlist some video on there. I'll have to double check. If not, there will be videos in the future. So before I finish this video, I will do a quick overview of the filtering options, because that's one of the things, especially with quest. Let's say as a storyteller you say, okay, I've got a quest and I'm not sure of the requirement I should ask to have not too many characters possible to join, but still to not be too easy. How do you do that? Unless you got all the data recorded on a piece of paper, at some point you're just like, you don't know. So let's say, okay, you want someone with the merit natural linguist, and you say add filter. Okay, you got one. You'll know that if you put that requirement in your game, this character can cover that up. Okay, that's only one character. If you decide, for example, no, it's not going to be rugged instead. Oh, you got two characters, so it could be either this one or this one. Okay, let's say you want curiosity as a flaw. You got one character. Okay. But as you may wonder, you can actually combine those filters. They all stack in an AND format. It's not OR, it's really AND. So if I say I want someone with brawl at 2 minimum, okay, already only one, damn it. Let's say dodge at 2 then. Oop. Okay, so all 5 characters got at least dodge at 2. Then I'll go with, let's say I want Ensilaze. Okay, I've got 4 left. I could go and say I want Avon at 3. Only 1. Okay. Not enough. So you can play with that, and the list you see on the bottom will actually just refresh itself as you add filters. So you can go add filters on discipline, on the specific influence, since those are dynamic where you can enter what you want. It's not a list of possibilities. You can go with technique. Flaws, merit, you can go physical, social, mental, which is either min or max. And all of those lists for the merits, the flaws, the technique, the discipline, the background, the skill are built using the data you loaded. So if I go in discipline, you don't see, for example, thaumaturgy, or you don't see you see obfuscate, you don't see dementation because there's no Malkavian in the list, for example. So if you load a Malkavian sheet, you will see dementation in that list. So you don't risk just adding a filter and having 0 people for the sake of like, okay, there's no one in there. So it gives you a tool to help you manage quest. Same as well if you want to say, okay, I want to introduce that plot to everyone who has science at 4. If there's someone, so if there's someone with science at 4. Right now there's not even someone with science. It's like, oh, bad thing. Okay, let's say occult. Occult at 3. You got 1. Okay, so if I had that thing, you could go to that player and say, hey, you've heard things. So that's a quick overview of what this tool, this toolbox can do. As I told you, I'll have to cover up a few of those elements in the future, for example, what you can get out of those files. How do you send emails, because there's a little twist. How the upgrade process works, that will be one of the next videos I think I will do, because that one actually can be used by players, and they can load the toolbox without problem. And in the future, I'll also cover the influence gossip, the news gossip in detail. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you got questions or comments, you can send them my way as I always. And for the rest, we'll see you in time. Bye.